I wanted to clarify some stuff that was going on last week. Well, and well, I guess just explain more than clarify, because I don't really say much about it. But God, everything that's been rattling around in my head, help me get it out there clearly. Give me the words I need, and everybody else the understanding they need. uh, hmm. But man, last week was a trip. I don't quite. I mean, looking back on it now, I can, I can break it down a lot more. But it was just, it was just this string of things, of events, of thoughts that just, one event, one thought, one care came along. I was able to, I was able to deal with that all right. Me and God could power through it. And then another one came along. Got a little weak kneed there for a minute. Did all right. I got my footing back under me. Things were good. Then another one, and then another one, and another one. Uh, and then finally, it was just like a gut punch. These, we all, I'm sure, have heard Dave talk about how if the devil can't get to you, he'll use your friends. He'll use the people you care about, the people you love. So he started going after some of my friends. And that one, those hurt bad. So that was, that was, I pretty much just caved after that, man. I just kind of, it was just all I could do just to function. So we we did this broadcast last Tuesday, and then it just went downhill. It was like, it seemed like stuff stopped happening, but I was just swamped with cares. All this stuff that I was dealing with all right, and just took that one more thing, and then it all just 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 collapsed in on top of me, and I was just at the bottom of the pile. And it got pretty dark, even if it was only for a few days. Let's see, Tuesday through Saturday. But it just never, never let up. And it was terrible. It was the closest thing I can imagine to, well, at this point that I've experienced, to just emotional torture. Because it was just always there. I could feel depression wrapping around me. And I just, I couldn't hear God. I was just so consumed with all this stuff, man. It's like God was removed from me. I was just numb inside. I didn't have any energy to do anything. I just just come home from work and lay down on the bed, on the couch, and just drowned in concern. And man, It did get dark. It's easy to push aside those those drastic thoughts at first, but when they keep coming, you start entertaining them a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I hadn't been in a place like that for years, and it felt worse this time because I actually know how to hear God better now. I couldn't. I didn't want to pray, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to listen to anything, didn't want to read anything, didn't want to pray anything. Closest I came was a couple times on my breaks at work. I would just I'd pull out my phone and just start writing a note on there, just a letter to God, just like I used to do. Just asking him where he was, what happened, why couldn't I hear him, what's going on with me, what's going on. I was just lost, and I didn't know how to get out of it because I couldn't hear God. It was terrible. And then, so, got through a few of those notes, writing them to God, and then Bible verses started just showing up in my head, talking about right before Paul goes into the armor of God. I got it in here somewhere. Right, no, maybe I don't. I do, it was just in the wrong app. I'm still coming around, I'm a little disoriented. Ephesians 6:13 and 14. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, and then he just goes on. And Paul put a lot of emphasis on standing. And I wasn't praying, I wasn't reading, I wasn't I wasn't doing a single thing. But I also wasn't drifting away from God. I wasn't looking for excuses. I wasn't looking for reasons. I wasn't looking for negotiations, compromise. I didn't look for any of that stuff. All I wanted was answers, because I knew the problem was with me, because all it was, I was just consumed with all these cares that were coming from my own heart. Just, they were good things to be concerned about. But the fact that I took so much ownership in them really, really expressed just how little control God still has in my life. Much as that hurts to say. Hey, what you gonna do, you know? But the fact that those concerns were able to just completely usurp me testifies a little bit about how much more maturing I have. So, yeah, dude, I would just come home and just lay, just wallow, and try not to entertain these thoughts for too long. Try not to stay in that dark place for too long. And then I would just come to the end of myself again. I would just be there, just in silence. And then I would just see a little bit more of myself. And healing would come. And that's how I knew somehow, no matter what, God was still right there. Even if I couldn't see him, he was putting some disinfectant on those emotional cuts. And that's usually expressed through tears. So no sense in being proud about it, right? And that happened every day last week. Just come home and just lay there and cry for a while and stop and think and think and think and think and think and think. Maybe cry a little bit more, fake a smile, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, do it all again. I just didn't care about much. All I could all I could focus on was not staying in that dark place. And then and then on Saturday, the my car I was on my way to work in the morning, and then my car started crapping out. Icing on the cake, dude. So I ended up being the oil sending unit for the car. I would I made it out of the neighborhood, and then I hit a stop sign, and then it started sputtering, and then I got above a certain speed, and then it did all right. But I knew there was like 10 more stop signs before I got to work. So I was thinking, oh, crap. And so once I got up to speed that first time, I was thinking, all right, well, maybe that's just a weird fluke thing. And then, of course, not even a full minute later, I hit the next stop sign. And then it got worse. The next stop sign, it got worse. And so I ended up just about coasting to the dealership. And since car lots around here, or at least in the States, all the ones I've seen, when they're closed, they lock up their parking lots. So I just pulled up alongside one of their little frontage roads and just left my car there. And one of the guys I was working with in the morning, he stopped by and picked me up. And then that whole morning, man, I was just, that first hour especially, I was trying not to be pissed and just trying to stay cool and be collected and just mind my own business and not lose it because I wanted to. And then God decided to start talking to me. Not like he had been withholding so much before, but so I was just, honestly, I started coming back to myself then. I was like, it's not like God got moved off of where he's working from. What am I so concerned about? And then it got to the point where I didn't even care about the car anymore. I was still just consumed with concern for this other stuff, these people that I do care about, that were getting messed with. Because I'm still understanding my jurisdiction in that one. And so then God started lecturing me about faith. And he said, you may as well just be happy about it now. I mean, he said rejoice, but I don't know. That word's too churchy for me. And I said, you know what I'll be happy about when I get my car back? And he's like, that's not faith so much, son. That's just you. That's emotions. And that was what really helped me get past the whole issue of wondering about my car, and then just going back to concern for the people I care about. And then I ended up doing that. I started coming back around as the day at work drew on. And then Saturday, got home from work, and as it was turning into the routine, just laid there for a while. hit the end of myself again, a little more healing, and then I fell asleep for a little while, and I woke up, and everything changed. It was like all the clouds were gone. It was like, Paul said, well, an angel came and spoke to him about the whole shipwreck thing there towards the end of Acts. And as the Gospels talk about how angels came and ministered to Jesus, considering how much weird crap is going on with angels, I'd rather just say it was God. Like, give me one of those, like a pat on the back from a happy coach, that kind of thing, you know? And you made it. We got through it. And then things were, they've been uphill ever since. And I was kind of, because I'd hate to be one of those people that just falls for something that's not God. So I was paranoid about it. But I was, the weight seemed to be gone. I started praying, and then more and more it seemed like stuff just started falling off. And I had, and then the next morning it was, things were still different. It was like I could look at all this stuff I was concerned about and choose whether or not to pick it up and hold it again. And then at I was finally getting some good praying time in again on Sunday night, and God reminded me of something that was going on. Remember what I was talking about, how I just couldn't stop just throwing myself into all these messages, and like I was just listening to Dave's old stuff all the time, and I was reading every chance I got whenever I just didn't want to listen to stuff, and I just, I was in it. God reminded me of that time, because there was a point in there where I was like, God, why am I so overwhelmed with just this hunger, this lust for you, for everything you are, everything you have for me. And you ever been in some kind of tournament or competition and you got those pre-game jitters? That's really all I could comprehend out of what he was trying to get across to me. I never put the two together because I completely forgot about him trying to convey that to me until he reminded me after I was done. And I didn't have anything to take to God last week. I was just trying to stay afloat, just trying to take it one day at a time. And I don't know that I have ever felt that broken. Just that worthless. But every time, healing was there, every single time. And I knew that healing was God. That was that was that was God ministering to me. So I knew He was there. Even if I couldn't feel Him, couldn't hear Him, I wasn't doing anything to really encourage Him coming around. But I never really felt like I had more of God's strength than that time. I guess because I didn't have any of my own to fall back on. But there was still something there. I never, well, me personally, I prefer the more honest and gritty approach to God and to Christianity and to truth, because it evokes so much more emotion and so much more of ourselves than to encourage everybody to put on a happy smiley face before we all get together. I'd rather just get down into it. That's where the issues are, man. They're on the other side of the fake smiles. I never felt more desperate for God than I did last week. And now it's kind of like you ever been traveling and then you get off the plane and it's just a different feel, different scenery, not quite sure what's going on, where to go, what to do. Like, yeah, you've seen trees before, you've seen streets, cars, people, they're all there, but it's different. And that's kind of, that's where I feel like I'm at now. I guess the biggest thing I want to convey here this time, well, God's not afraid to show up in the darkness. There's this one guy at work. He's in his 40s, and I guess he came on some pretty hard times. Ended up having to move back in with his parents, which 40 something, that's not a very proud thing to do. But all he was doing was just going home when he got off of work and just drinking and drinking. Did you ever see the original Lethal Weapon, the first one? I imagine that he was kind of like Mel Gibson's character in that. And then he was talking about how he's trying to get things turned back around. He started going to church again and this and that. And somebody else, the easiest way to start religious conversations with the people I work with is to pick a fight with religion itself. And then more or less just let these other people watch, and then they'll start talking about it all by themselves. I Well, I was explaining to them something that I became aware of within church, not necessarily the prayer center, just Christianity, and uh, and then she just started talking and talking and talking about all her times at these churches. And she said there was one that there was a special section for people with that had been busted for issues like adultery and substance abuse and stuff like that. Like they had a little timeout or a penalty box or something. And even she had a better grasp on Jesus than this church did. I don't even know how much Christian background she has, but she was like, well, I don't really go to church much now, but you'd think those people would be the ones that need God more. Oh man. All I gotta do is make fun of religion with some of these people, and they just brings out the best in them. That was a good chat. I never will forget though when I woke up from that nap on Saturday, to God giving me that pat on the back, and telling me that I made it through. That's worth more than a whole lot. But I didn't realize how much of my own personal care I was still hauling around, just because it almost became passive for me. I got used to the extra baggage, I guess. And then all of a sudden, the devil came along and took these concerns, these cares, and it was like he filled them up with lead, and all of a sudden I just collapsed, and I didn't know where it came from. I learned quite a bit in that short little span of time about how to not care so much. And I'm so glad that time is over. I would rather only learn that kind of lesson once and then keep other people from having to learn it the same way I did. I never did tell you I gotta throw myself under the bus here. When my car crapped out, I ended up getting a rental, and I had to wait until I was done with work. And I guess there was a mad rush for uh, for rentals from this place, and I got stuck dropping off my car. It's just a little compact sedan, and so this chick working the desk at the rental company, she was like, "Well, we got pretty busy this morning. All we have left is a minivan." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I mean, we can see if there's anything else, but that's the only thing I could get you into right now." Uh, so I got to sport the Dodge Grand Caravan for a day. It was terrible. But when it's something that bad, you just got to own it. I took a picture of it, sent it to all the guys I was going to work with this morning. And I was like, if you need a ride to soccer practice, let me know. And then Carrie sent me a message today. Hey, are you going to the parent-teacher meetings tonight? Making fun of it because there's just such a stereotype for minivans in the States. It's a soccer mom thing. It was awful. So I was so glad to get my car back today. Yeah. I just don't want anybody thinking that Christianity is just all gumdrops and roses. You know, you got to think about it. It's our own individual walk with God, right? Right? We're the ones learning how to get free, right? Right. So it's our own baggage that we're learning how to sacrifice. Some of that baggage is pretty important to us. That's like if I ever fly back up to Washington State, see my folks, and the airline loses my bags, I'm still there, but none of the stuff I wanted to bring with me. Of course, I do need a toothbrush, things like that. So that analogy only goes so far. But baggage is baggage. And if Jesus' burden is light, we gotta learn to be a little less reluctant to give ours up. The only reason it feels like it costs us something is because we got the wrong perspective. Yeah? So, love you guys. Thank you for putting up with me. And talk to you soon. Peace.